Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Let's go ahead and like and share and comment. Say good evening or good morning, depending on where you're watching from. That's how it is with social media. You can be anywhere in the world. So
Mhm.
happy Wednesday. Happy August 13th. I'm Lacy Robertson, the hardest working woman in mortgage and real estate nationwide, and I'm here with the wonderful Dr. Lysa Liggins, and we're bringing you our episode tonight on really just navigating being laid off or jumping into a new career and what that entails. Because a lot of emotions are involved, right? You lost your job, or there's cutbacks, or you're thinking about starting a new business or going into a new career. So we try to tackle things that occur during that time frame, right? What's important. So I wanted to share this week about staying in control, managing your housing budget during the layoff. Now, when you're not laid off and money is coming in and you're paying your bills on time, all is well with you. But sometimes it just takes one incident, one accident to throw your budget off whack. I know most of my clients literally, when they would fill out their paperwork, they would be short maybe $100 to $300. Not a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a lot if something happens, or they got to get a new washing machine and dryer. They have to do a major repair on their car. And so it can be super significant when as it relates to that. So I want to help you navigate that. The first thing, when we're talking about being in control, because you can only control what you can control. You can't control a company from not laying you off. If it's your time, it's your time. You can't control if someone passes away and they're the primary breadwinner in the family. You can't control that. But the things that we can control, let's take a look at it and see if we can manage that while we're going through transition. So the first thing is to assess your financial picture immediately, right? So you're going to want to look at the cash that you have on hand. What kind of unemployment benefits, if you're getting that? You want to look at any severance that you may have. You want to include all the income. How about additional income? Can you do side gigs? Some people utilize Uber, whether it's Uber Eats or regular Uber, driving people around. So different side gigs. How about your rental income, if you have any that's coming in? So you want to look at all that. Your fixed monthly bills, so those bills that are constant, those car payments, the mortgage or the rent. You want to assess your complete financial picture. Nothing is off limits, even those subscriptions, okay? Even those gym memberships. You want to look at all of your spending. If you are spending one red penny on it, you want to look at that. You want to maybe create a nice little Excel spreadsheet and have it all together. Um, but don't have some things one place, some another. You're going to want to combine it so you can get a complete picture at the same time, right? So assess your financial picture. It can be daunting because you may say, I got more bills than money, but you can't have closed eyes to it, right? It's essential that you look at it so you can see what you can cut out or stop momentarily until things get better. The second thing you want to do is prioritize what's important. You want to prioritize your housing. We're talking about staying in control, right? You want to be in control. You don't want to get a notice on your door if you're renting, a 3-day pay to quit. You don't want to get a foreclosure notice because you're behind. You want to make sure you prioritize your four walls, okay? And in that four walls, it's your housing, right? So you want to make sure that when it comes to paying something first, you want to pay your mortgage, you want to pay your HOA fees, your property taxes, your property insurance. If you're renting, you want to make sure your rent is on time. Then obviously you got to eat. right? So you may, if you a person like me that eats out a lot, you may want to cut back on that and buy some groceries and eat in. And then transportation, you may can't be going all over the place, right? You want to create that budget that says, you know what? Um, it's sometimes, okay, so I'm gonna tell on myself. There has been more often than not, okay? I'm not a person, I don't really care to go to the grocery store. It's like three things that I don't care to do, but I know it's necessary. One is going to the gas station, one is going to the grocery store. Um, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a waste of time, but I have to do it, right? And so there have been times, okay, I know it may just be me, but I'm okay. I'm okay with myself. There have been times that I've actually pulled up in the grocery store parking lot, parked my car, and just changed my mind. I said, I'm not going in. And I leave only to have to go back another day. I know it's crazy. I may be all by myself on this, but it's the truth. So, when we're talking about gas and car payments and insurance, you want to kill multiple birds in one stone. You don't want to be like me, pull up in the parking lot, you're already there. Just go in and do what you got to do, right? You want to make sure that if you're going a direction and you can handle five or six things at one time, you want to do that. And then obviously, I like to say anything that can be cut off, pay it. Pay it first. So you're going to pay your housing, but if it can be cut off, you need to pay that. So that's your electricity, that's your water bill. You don't want to be in the dark. Lord knows you need your water. Okay. Internet these days, but for some, not having the internet won't kill you. Thankfully, there's a library you can go to. Sometimes, if you have to get something done, you can go to Starbucks or something like that. So it's not the end of the world. But again, if it can be cut off, you want to handle that. We're talking about being in control. Part of being in control of your finances, your housing, and your budget is creating a budget that's just purely survival. I'm not trying to necessarily go to the movies, go to the next comedy club, go hang out with my friends. It's like I'm in survival mode here, and I'm not going to feel bad about it because it's only temporary. But in the meantime, I'm going to make sure that I can't go hang out with the girls. We cannot go shopping this month, next month either, because I don't have a job yet, and be okay with that. It's a survival budget, but it's not, it's only temporary, right? That's not what life is going to look like for you all the time. So that's your bare bones budget, right? That's just the minimum things you need. Obviously, your housing, anything that's being cut off. So to eliminate, excuse me, things that are unnecessary. If it's unnecessary, eliminate it. It may be just temporary, but you got to get through the season in your life, right? And part of eliminating it, if it's something that you can cut off completely, then you do that. If it's something that maybe you can contact the creditor and say, hey, I lost my job. Maybe they can suspend the payments. Maybe they can give you a forbearance. I know a lot of car financing companies, they can suspend your car payment. Now, it doesn't mean they forgive it, right? They may tack it on to the end of the loan, but listen, that can save your credit in a lot of cases. That can allow you to breathe a little bit easier and take the stress off. So you want to make sure get to your survival budget, and then everything else can wait until things turn around and you meet with Dr. Lysa and she sends you on a way with a plan and work with you and starting your new job and career. Other thing is managing, and then this one's hard. It can be challenging, but it can be done. Manage other debts strategically. Now, with credit cards, right? We're talking about paying the necessities, but you don't want your credit to tank completely. So if you have a little discretionary income, you're going to want to pay off maybe the lowest credit cards first. Use like a snowball effect where you can pay the credit cards with the lowest balance first, and that'll give you some momentum. So after you pay that one, then you pay the second one and the third one, and so on and so forth. Or you can tackle those credit cards or credit loans that have the highest interest rate. But that's only if you got some discretionary income, and you may have to hold on to that because you don't know how long it's going to take for you to land new employment. But at the bare minimum, make the minimum payments. If you can pay more, pay more. But don't put undue stress on yourself when you don't have to. If you pay the minimum payment, you're in survival mode. Your credit is going to be intact. Don't get down on yourself when you're like, oh my gosh, I usually pay my cards off, within 2 months. I usually charge and pay it off immediately. We understand what you used to do, and it's a matter of time you'll get back there. But until then, again, I can't stress, part of being in control is knowing what you're working with and doing the best that you can with what you have, right? I will end with this one. A lot of times we have savings, right? So we have, maybe 401ks, or you have, your savings in your bank account or whatever, and you try your best not to touch it, right? It's for emergency only. Do not feel like you're a failure if you have to dip into your savings. Your savings is there for a reason. It's to save you.
Take it with
Hello,
you. Yeah.
it is to save you. So I want to encourage you in that. And don't feel like you're being set back. Like, oh my gosh, I saved up this $10,000, or I saved up this $15,000. Now I lost my job. Now I'm wondering how I'm going to pay my bills. And you're like, but I can't touch this. No, your savings is not for you to go shopping and go on your vacation. But if you need it, be okay with using it, right? Be okay with, you know what? I'm glad that I have it, because everybody doesn't have a savings. They weren't fortunate to be able to save up something, or they just had bad mismanagement of their funds. So you want to make sure, if you need it, use it. Use it. Because remember, this is only temporary. We're talking about taking control of our housing and our budget. In the event we experience a loss of income, um, we can control that. So you have a savings, let it save you. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lysa so she can give us some amazing tips on navigating layoffs and trying to breathe a little easier.
Thank you so much, Lacy. You know what? As you were saying that, I was remembering my mom. My mom always says, you cannot take your money with you. So if you have it in your savings, then use that money, like use it if you have it in your savings. So thank you for saying that. So yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about, well, we're talking about staying in control. When you are facing a layoff, facing some type of displacement with your home. I love this space that we're in, because it really allows us to really hone in on several things. We talked about protection last week and just protecting yourself. And this week, I want to talk a little bit about three things: mindset. I'm going to kind of move it into three different categories: mindset, action, and stability. And when you think of it, you need a clear mind first before you do anything. You need to make sure that your mind is clear. Then you take action, and then you're stable. So if you can remember it that way. So for phase one, when we're talking about mindset, you want to make sure that you protect your confidence and your clarity, and building an emotional safety net with people that you trust. So enter career coach Lysa Liggins, right? You can talk to a career coach, you can talk to a confidant, you can talk to your partner, your spouse, you can talk to anyone that you feel safe talking to make sure that you can protect your confidence. Because let's face it, a layoff can shake your identity. I've said it before. My identity was not necessarily shaken, but it really does make you feel like, I went to school, I have the experience, I've done the work, and I still got laid off. So I had to remember and wind that back and make sure and take care of my mindset and remember that my job is what I did. it's not who I am. And I always say that, especially with people saying, Dr. Lysa, Dr. Liggins, doctor is what I do. Lysa is who I am. And so that helps me to really just kind of keep my mindset at a space where I'm open, and quite frankly, it keeps me humble, right? And so it keeps us humble because a layoff can shake our identity. And then we also want to make sure that we create a support circle for accountability and encouragement. So in doing career coaching, I was a few years back when I was coaching for an organization before I started my business. We used to do like a circle, and we would have different individuals from different walks of life, different industries, and they would come in. They had all been laid off, and we would bring them in together, and we would just kind of have a space for them to vent, a space for them to be encouraged by one another. We're all in the same space here. So we would just have like talks where we would go through the different emotions that happen, because let's face it, we get emotional. There's anger. If you've been laid off, it's a little bit different than you quitting a job. Obviously, it's a little bit different than you being fired as well. But when you're laid off of a job, you can love your job. And then that downsizing happened and that layoff happened. You go through a lot of different emotions. So the first emotion is usually anger. You're angry. And I can even go before that. You're in disbelief. So you're kind of numb to the whole thing. You're like, did that just happen? Right? You're walking out of the doors of your organization and you're really in disbelief because you're just kind of like, okay, and it just happened. And I can speak from experience. Even when HR was telling me, we're going to go ahead, we had to eliminate your role. We had to eliminate a couple of roles, and your role was one of the ones. I didn't really hear her in that moment. Right. And so after that, you go, you clean out your office, you do the walk of shame, or whatever, you turn your badge in, and you're kind of numb in those moments walking out. But then the days go by and you realize, hang on, I don't have a job. Then you go into sadness. And then you go into, did they just do that? So now you're angry, and so you have a different range of emotions that you go through, but it's really important to create that circle of accountability and stability for encouragement with other people who are going through the same thing that you are. There was an article the other day that Essence put out, and there are 300,000 African-American women who are out of work right now. 300,000. Now, last week, the statistic that we said was 700,000 people in the US that are out of work right now.
Yes.
A majority of that, or a little bit, like maybe 3/4 of that, is African-American women. Amazing. So I say that to say, you're not alone. Everyone is going through something, and a lot of people are going through layoffs. Another thing with mindset, you want to maintain your routine. Now, just because you're laid off right now doesn't mean you get to sleep till 10 o'clock in the morning. No, get up, go work out, do something productive, make sure you exercise, make sure that you have some social connectivity that can directly impact your confidence during your interviews as well. Get on LinkedIn, and I'll talk a little bit more about LinkedIn, but make sure that your resume and your LinkedIn are up to speed. And so use some of that time that you would have been at work that morning to make sure that you go ahead and you're still productive. And that helps your mindset. Exercising helps release those endorphins that those stressors that you have, that realizing that, you don't have a job, you don't have income, but making sure that you exercise and making sure that you sleep properly. And those are things that you can do to really, really make sure that in phase 1 for your mindset. I want to move into phase 2. Talk about taking action. You want to move quickly and strategically. Last week, we talked about making sure that immediately when you are laid off, go ahead and apply for some benefits. And we talked about unemployment benefits, but prior to that, apply for medical benefits. And if you have to get Medi-Cal or some type of medical assistance from your county or from the state, you have worked your job. You have paid into that. Do not be ashamed to do that. But that is an action that you need to take, and dedicate daily hours to applications, networking, and skill building. I'm going to stop right here and say this. You're not working. You have gotten through that moment of that sadness, that anger, that numbness. Okay, now we got to snap to it. We got to take action. And we want to make sure that you dedicate some daily hours. So you say, okay, I'm going to get up from 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to fill out applications. And I say this because a lot of times we'll go in, and I've been guilty of this before. I've been guilty of this. We'll go into Indeed, Monster, LinkedIn. We'll go into those platforms that have the jobs on them, and we'll just start applying for jobs. Indeed has that cool little thing where it says easily apply. Beware of easily applying, because what happens is you want to resist the urge of pushing that easy apply, because guess what it does? It connects your resume to whatever that is very easily. Yes, it does. But you have to take a moment and you need to tweak your resume to whatever that job description says in that job. And easily apply doesn't allow you to necessarily do that. So you want to make sure that when you are dedicating those hours, that they're intentional hours, and that you're not just going in and just applying for everything that says cashier, everything that says project manager. No, you have to tailor your resume and be intentional. You also want to make sure that you network. And so I know people don't like the word networking. It feels fake. It feels phony. I have a whole training on networking for introverts, because networking can just feel like something that is, I'd rather have a root canal, is something a client told me one time. She's like, I'd rather have a root canal than network. And I believe her, because a lot of times in these networking situations, you're doing small talk over charcuterie boards or whatever they have at that, at that networking situation. And so, but it's really important to network. And we've made it a little bit easier. And I say we, because in the career coaching world, there's a lot of times where you can do online networking. You can follow different people on LinkedIn, and it's not creepy, right? It's okay that you see an organization that you want to work for, you go and you follow them. You go to their networking events. There are virtual networking events that you can attend, that people always go to. And there's different ways that you can actually get a job in those networking events or information. You can also go and volunteer. If that organization is having an event, you want to work there, you're interested in working there, and they have an event, they're always looking for volunteers. It just takes that action and making sure that you do that when that time is right and when they have those events. Last thing in the action phase is you want to let trusted contacts know that you're available. Many opportunities come through referrals and not job boards. So at one moment in time, I was talking to a client of mine, and she had a very large network. She was like, yeah, I'm on this, I'm on that. And she's like, well, but I don't want them to know I'm not working. Why not? I mean, we have our network from within, and then we have our network outside of us, which is maybe outside of Facebook or Instagram. We have our large network. She had a full network of different organizations that she was a part of, but she didn't want to tell any of these people that she was laid off. And I do get it to an extent, but only to an extent. We cannot be afraid to let people know that we need something. What do they say? A closed mouth does not get fed. So if you really have some trusted contacts, and you know people who know people, or you know people in positions that are able to hire you, you want to make sure that you let those trusted contacts know that, hey, I'm looking for work. If you hear about anything, please let me know. And it sounds a little cliche, because the people say, oh yeah, I'll keep my eyes and ears open. But those who really care about you really do keep their eyes and ears open. And when something comes available, they will reach out to you. I'm sorry. There is one more thing in the action, phase 2 action. Avoid emergency decisions that create long-term debt. Lacy just talked about that. And I want to say too, resist the urge to live on your credit cards without a repayment plan. This can totally follow you long after you get that new job. So you get that new job making $5,000 a month more, but now you're paying back your credit card debt in that. So like Lacy was saying, make sure that you create a list and budget yourself, pay the minimum due if you have to, but sometimes you can actually, I know people have heard of Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey has, it's a program, a tool. He has several different tools, and he has different steps that you take. One of the steps that you take is the snowball effect. And what the snowball effect is that you line your different your different credit cards, different budgets up, and you put them in order of you prioritize them. So maybe that largest amount that's due, that largest balance that you have, Chop that away first, and then you go on to the next one and on to the next one, so that you don't get into too much debt. And like Lacy said as well, we're kind of on the same wavelength here, Lacy. Pause any large purchases and postpone any financial commitments until your stability returns. You may want, here I am, I'll just use myself. I love Tory Burch. Everybody that knows me well knows that. I may want that new bag that just came out, but at that time, I am not able to afford that bag. So I have to wait until I can afford that bag. And these are things that are pleasure. Some things we may need to have some financial commitments. We may have things that are really, really important, like student loan repayments or our mortgage or something like that. You want to make sure that you pause any large purchases and take care of all of those things that you need to until that stability returns. If you have to borrow, explore some lower interest options. Do your research. Read the small print. Credit union loans and maybe home equity lines over high interest credit cards is always better. So I'm going to step off of that because Lacy already talked about that. Phase 3. So you have you made sure that your mindset was intact. Your mind is good. You're stable. And phase two is when you take action, and now you have stability. You have to secure your essentials and plan ahead. And so this is what we were talking about a little earlier as well. Prioritizing your housing first. If you don't have anywhere to live, that's a problem, right? So making sure that your home base is for job hunting, networking, recovery. Protect that at all costs, because if that goes away, then you have a whole different problem that you have to deal with. So you want to make sure that you prioritize your house first and get all of those things done. You want to contact people early, let them know. We talked about hardship programs or deferments or forbearance or interest only payment options. Those are also options. And if necessary, maybe you should downsize or consider a short-term subletting to reduce some expenses while that stability is coming back. And then lastly, reassessing your budget immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, treat your budget like it's a survival plan. Because it is.
It is.
It is a survival plan. List all fixed expenses and cut the non-essentials. I think we can't say that enough. Lacy, you mentioned it already, but the non-essentials. I will say this, and I'll be very transparent. At the beginning of the year, I lead the young adult Bible study at my church, and we were talking about making sure that we're good with our finances. So I gave them all a challenge, and I said, listen, I'm going to join the challenge as well. Your subscriptions that you have, I want you to look through them, and I want you to see what ones you don't use. I bet you there are several in your phone, because it saves it in your phone, that you really, really, really don't need. And I want you to figure out which ones you don't need. And I want you to come back next month, and I want to know how much money was saved from those non-essential subscriptions that you have, right? People came back and they were like, oh my gosh, I saved $100. I saved $30 a month. I saved $300 a month. Me personally, I saved $364 after I did so many things. I cut my cable off. It's a non-essential. I don't watch a lot of TV. Now, I did purchase a smart box, but I was paying $185 a month to now I'm only paying $25 a month for this smart box. And so there's different things that you can do. We just have to really go in and look at them. I was paying for Apple twice. I don't know how that happened, but $5.99 a month times 2 times 12 months a year adds up. And so we may not even remember that we did something. I had all these little, it sounds good when you do it. It was like a fit app I was doing. It was $19.99 a month. And I went a whole different direction on my weight loss journey. So why am I paying $20 a month? And I'm going, so make sure that you reassess the things that are not essential, especially those subscription-based things, because they'll get you, $3? That's nothing. But imagine $3 times 12, and then you have 5 other subscriptions. So, okay. Also, switching to a bare bones budget. And what I mean by that, for the next 90 days, revisit every single service and make sure that there is a discretionary, a need for it. So that's kind of what I just said. And then I also have here using free community resources. Now, I said this last week and I'll say it again. This is not a time to be proud. The Bible actually speaks about pride. We don't want to have a prideful spirit. We want to make sure that we are humble enough in this moment to ask for assistance, or if we're not asking for it and we know it's available, utilize it for the betterment of the whole. So if there are food banks, internet programs, utility assistance, utilize these things. There is what is it, the electronic benefit, the EBT. There is, when you're applying for certain things, you can apply for, we talked about Medi-Cal, but you can also apply for EBT as well, and you can use this for your food. So that's money that you're not using out of your own pocket, that, again, ladies and gentlemen, you paid into when you had that job. So it's your right to use these things. So we can do that. And then I talked about this before, but I'll just say it really quickly: leveraging your severance, your unemployment, and assistance program. So making sure that you apply for unemployment benefits immediately. Processing delays with unemployment has cost me in the past. So make sure that once you apply for all of those things, you keep ahead of that. And then you want to check any type of state or local housing assistance program. Some of these programs, and Lacy, I'm sure you can speak to this, some of these programs are specifically designed for layoff situations, and they understand that, and they're willing to work with you. Now, you may have, I have had it in the past, and I don't mind being so transparent, because my journey has been my journey, and I want to help somebody else that may go through this. I have gone and called my car note, and I said, is there a way that I can, I talked about this actually the first week, and I said, is there a way that I can get a deferment on my loan? And they were like, sure. They didn't ask me any questions. They didn't, ultimately I had to fill out an application. And back then they were saying, well, it'll move to the bottom of your loan. I don't care about that. What's going on today? I need to stretch these funds today. Guess what happened? I asked them for 1 month, and they said, okay, sure. So they're filling out the application for me, and the gentleman puts me on hold, and he said, well, is there a reason why? And then he asked the question. I said, well, yes, I've recently been laid off, and I need to see if there's a way that I can have a month. And he goes, well, we offer up to 3 months. Wait, what?
I'll take it.
Exactly. And so he offered that to me. So you just don't know if you don't ask, right? And so all people can say is no. And most of the time, people don't want to have you fall into something because it costs them more money to help you out after that thing is already not fixed anymore. So you want to make sure that you get yourself on that phone and contact people with your credit cards, contact people with your car note, contact your landlord, because as we said before, 700,000 people are unemployed right now. Trust me, these organizations, these credit card companies, these car loan services, they are used to getting these phone calls. And at some point in time, hopefully, they'll have a program like they had during, the pandemic or whatever, where they're assisting someone. But until that time, let's do our homework. Let's do our research and make sure that we can get everything that we are able to get, that we've worked for to be able to get, so that we can actually protect ourselves. So don't forget, these are the 3 things. We want to make sure that we make sure that our mindset is okay. We want to make sure that we take action, and then we move into stability. And so once those 3 things are done, we can go ahead and we can protect ourselves in the long run. So that's what I have. So thank you so much, Lacy.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Lysa. I love everything that you said. Especially reaching out. I've had times, it was many years ago, but I remember I had to ask for a deferment or forbearance on my car loan as well. And it's just important. There's still humans that pick up the phone at these corporations, right? Until we go completely AI. That's a whole nother story. But in the meantime, there are individuals picking up the phone, and many of them have been there themselves, or they know someone And so you go, you get more, what, catch more bees with honey.
Yeah.
So have the right attitude, the mindset. So before you call, be smiling. I can't remember what it was, but I remember somebody should say, like, you should just be smiling while you're talking on the phone because people really can tell,
Yep.
right? They can tell if you're happy, if you're frustrated. It's not their fault that you got laid off and you need something from them. So,
Right.
you want to
Right.
just smile and, Lord, I thank you. I'm about to make this important call right now and I need favor, all of those things. And so we wanted to leave just a few minutes because we try not to go past 7:30. I know we're a little over, but if you guys have any questions that come to mind, whether it's about what we said or anything, Lisa's all things career coaching, getting you back uh, as it relates to, finding a job and your resume and interviews. She's all things career, even starting a new profession, because some people, they may have been laid off a couple of times in the same profession and they're like, that's it, I want to try something new. And she'll tell you a lot of skills are transferable, right? So if you were gray, you were an assistant or something, you have computer skills, all of that. And so if you have any questions for us, we want to leave a few minutes to answer any of those questions. In the meantime, Dr. Lisa, you could put your information in the chat, how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Um, and we will wrap it up in just a few minutes. I'll give people a little time, few minutes if they have any questions. But it's important. Don't be ashamed. You're not the first person that's gotten laid off or facing a financial hardship, and you're not going to be the last. We've had clients that not only got laid off, some of our clients are coming from the unfortunate tragedies that happened, excuse me, with the fires, because a lot of them have lost their housing, they've lost their job. So they weren't laid off, but a
Mhm.
natural disaster took their job, right? So it doesn't necessarily matter how you got to where you got to. The bottom line is if you need help, there's help out there. You don't have to do it alone. I've been laid off before, just totally out of nowhere, me and 399 other people years ago. And it doesn't feel good, to say the least. Okay. And it really didn't feel good to me because I was buying a piece of property at the same time. It was just awful. And I
Mhm.
lost money in the transaction. I didn't get my deposit back. I had signed my loan documents. My loan was funded in a few hours. It wasn't the seller's fault that I got laid off, but thankfully I was able to unravel the transaction, but I didn't get my money back. So I say
Mhm.
all that to say it's different for everybody. You got 5 kids, you laid off, you're a single parent, get what you can get. Get what you can get. There's people, um, and let's see, how do I want to say this? There are people that probably have not contributed to society the way you have, and they get what they get, and they take advantage. I'll say it like that. And so don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, right? Pride comes before a fall, it comes before destruction. And
Yeah.
so when there's help out there, take advantage. Oh, Miss April, but God, the Lord is faithful. He is faithful, and He's
Oh,
faithful to
yes.
get um to supply our needs, to
For
use
sure.
other people to help us, right? If you have any questions, if you're renting, and you want to know some of your rights and what do I do if there's assistance with rental assistance, if there's assistance for mortgage, please reach out to me. I am so pick up the phone and call me. Seriously. You can direct message me. Lisa, Dr. Lisa's put her website in the chat, but reach out to us. We're a great resource. And just know that God has the perfect job for you. He's not going to leave you by yourself. You got two capable women on this broadcast to help you and to direct you. And so let me see. I don't think we have any questions tonight. We had some good questions
Oh,
last night. But I'm
yeah.
going to end with this because this was a great tip. Dr. Lisa said this last week and she said it tonight, but just in case you didn't get it, she said before you apply for your unemployment benefits, you're going to want to apply for any Medi-Cal or Medicaid because a lot of times if you do it the other way around, you have income and it may disqualify you. Like that's huge. That
Yes.
deserves some likes, that deserves some
Yeah.
shares, that deserves some comments. Because
Mhm.
look, imagine what you don't know. Remember that saying, what what I don't know won't hurt me or whatever. No, what you don't know will hurt you. That is a
Yes.
lie because if you don't know, it will hurt you. So we are grateful and thankful that she shared that. But somebody had to walk that path
Yeah.
and get denied only to find out that that's not the way you do it. So guess what?
Right.
Now you got somebody, you don't
Yes.
have to make the same mistakes that we've made, right? You don't have to wait until the last minute and then say, I need help. No, somebody's already made some mistakes that you don't have to make if you just listen, if you just reach out, if you just know that, you know what? I'm not by myself. I don't have to be ashamed. Let me go on and get the help that I need because trust me, there are people that may not look like you. They getting all the help they need because they're not ashamed. They are not ashamed. They are taking advantage. And hey, I suggest you do too. So
Yeah.
that was a great tip. I absolutely
Yeah.
love that one because I'm like, yes, that's golden. That is golden.
Yes. And I
Um,
want to just add really quickly before we end, just a little plug. A lot of people I've been speaking to have been saying that, they're like, I don't want to go back into corporate America. I just want to start my own business. I have this idea. I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to go with it. I've been sitting on it for a long time. And I just want to share that please watch my Facebook and my Instagram. And if you're on my LinkedIn, I'm going to be doing a master class that covers the first 5 things that you need to do to start your business. And then that will lead into what's called the Grow Incubator. And what the Grow Incubator is, it's a space for individuals just like yourselves who may want to start their own business, who may want to write a book, just an idea that you have. And so it's a cohort of 8 people. And so the masterclass for it, though, is going to be in about 3 weeks. But watch your Facebook, watch my Facebook, my Instagram, my LinkedIn, and I will be giving information about when it will be. The masterclass is free for everyone who wants to attend. So all the information will be on there. So stay tuned for that. If you wanted to move forward from after the masterclass, there's some things we can talk about coaching. But I just want to really plug that if you want to start a business, there's so many people who are doing it right now. If you have that entrepreneurial mindset, if you have a job and you still want to start your business, that's fine too. You can be an intrapreneur, which we'll talk about that at another time. But yeah, so just wanted to plug that in. So thank you, Lacy.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. If you don't know, we're on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We try to pick a topic that we think is going to add value to your life and that is going to help you take as much stress off as possible, right? Because it didn't say stress wasn't going to come, but you don't have to take ownership of it. And so to help you navigate just this season. It's just this season. It's going to pass. But how it passes really depends on you, right? You could sit
Yes,
in a
I love
corner
that.
and cry, or you can be like, you know what? Life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. And when life happens for you, you know all things work together for your good. So
Yes.
thank you for tuning in. Please, please, please log on. Well, first of all, if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to us, DM. You can call or visit the websites that was provided, and then we'll be back on. I was about to say tomorrow because I'm used to going live every day. No, we'll be back on Wednesday, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. with another great topic and some great information to share with you guys. Until then, want you to have a wonderful day, have a wonderful weekend, and just go make it happen. Go make it happen and get in contact with us so we can help you. All right. Have a blessed day.
Bye.
Bye.